So now what we want to do is we want to go through a reversal setup or two and, kind of do some conditioning on this so that we get an idea of how this one's going to set up. Let's take a look at this trade setup we've got on Alaska Airlines. And notice what we've had here. We've had actually a bit of a trend trade set up back over here. In fact, I used that in one of the other examples, and then we had the exit signals here. This one was even really a better trend trade. It almost looks like a squeeze. It's kind of right in the middle there. You don't have a really tight squeeze. A really tight squeeze would be exampled over here in September. So you see how much wider these squeezes are. If we had our bandwidth indicator on, you would see that. This is more of a trend trade where it's starting to push into that upper trade there, or that upper band. And in this case, it was doing it with strength in the stochastics. Well, watch what's happened. The bands have continued to expand as you go through here. And now we get kind of that final surge. This is why the reversal trade takes courage. Look at that. You're thinking this is a really bullish trade, but look at what's happening with percent %B and with your stochastics. And watch this. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so we can see it a little bit better. Watch what's going to happen. And notice how tight your parabolic has become. So all these are starting to become signals that things may be slowing down. When your parabolic's that close, you know things are getting close to slowing down. There's one more last bullish surge, and then boom. Watch what just happened. Several things just happened on this one candlestick right here. Your candlestick formation is what we call a one black crow. This is a very weak signal. It suggests bearishness is coming in, and it's going to come in fast. The next thing that happened, your parabolic flipped over. So it is now officially telling you I'm in a bearish trade. And look at your percent %B. Look at that divergence and the beginnings of a bearish cross with your stochastics. Boom, boom, boom. This is strong weakness at the upper band. This is a shorting image here. This is the reversal. As you're starting the beginning of pulling away from the band, your parabolics is flipped bearish here. Your stochastics is flipping bearish. Your percent %B is diverging like a madman here. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to be courageous, and we're going to put an entry in here. So we're going to put an entry in here about 66, 63, give or take a few pennies, and we're going to put a stop at our parabolic up here, okay? So our parabolic is going to be at 7102. Give or take, just a few pennies there, but approximately 7102. That will be our stop. And if you measure your risk on this trade, you've got about a $4 or $5 risk sitting there. Now, watch what happens. Our target's going to be down here. Our first target is going to be the lower band. We got a long ways to go to get there. So let's see what happens as we trade this thing forward. And here it goes. Now you're gonna have to trust this thing. Remember, we're believing in this reversal here, and at this point you're maybe a little curious, but you're tracking your parabolics there, and we're going right down to the lower band, and you see how this is happening. There it is. So there's our first band tag, just barely tagged it right here. That is around $61, $62, depending on where you get out there. So had we gone short at 66, 63. You've got about $6 or $7 roughly. Again, it all depends on where you get in and out. Worth of opportunity there. Now, if you trade this thing further, if you held it much longer here, you're going to start to lose some of your opportunity. Watch this. There's your parabolic shifting on you. Finally shifted over. And so once you see that, had you not already gotten out, you should have gotten out at the parabolic shift, which would have put you up around $64 or so. Still would have been a profitable trade, but not as profitable. And this is another good learning opportunity. If you can recognize that reversal and you trade it to the other side, it's really, really profitable. But if you wait until you stop out, you're always going to give back a huge part of your profits. That's why I like to trade to a target and get out of the trade. This is the Bollinger reversal trade here. Again, let me highlight a few features here that was setting this up. Candlestick formation, one black crow. The parabolics had flipped over into a bearish scenario. Strong bearish divergence. Your stochastics was showing weakness all at the upper band. This is not a signal of a bearish trend. It's a signal of a bearish swing, and the preceding bullish trend is done. That is a reversal. And in this case, it gave us about $4 or $5. A lot of times this trade right here will give you one of the best risk rewards that you can have. So that's why the reversal is a very powerful trade.